Hi everyone, we are all humans. For every human, at times things can become tougher. No matter whatever challenges we face, we have to keep pushing forward. So let's remember these words, don't quit, and let's do it. So with that note, let's move on to today's topics. So these are the topics which I've taken for today's daily news analysis. So one is from Indian Express and other are from the Hindu. Okay. So these are the topics. So first one is talking regarding the census 2021. So here the author is saying that we need a comprehensive citizen registry, and the next article is regarding the copyright issue which is happening between the Tamil actors Nayanthara and Dhanush. So we'll see what are the legal precedents and what are the legal aspects of that particular issue. And also third one is a very important article. It is talking regarding the ballistic missile, the K4 missile which DRDO has developed. So we'll be discussing that. And fourth article is regarding the center's new plan. So that is regarding the plan to promote natural farming, national mission on natural farming. And the fifth one is regarding the issue which is happening between Wikimedia and ANI. Okay, so these are the 5 articles for today's daily news analysis. One is from Indian Express and other 4 are from the Hindu. Okay, all right. So let's move on to the first article. All right, so this article was written by C. Chandramouli. He is actually the former registrar and census commissioner. So the article is from a very authorized person only. So here we'll be discussing regarding what is the census and also what is this National Register of Indian Citizen. Okay, so this is very important from both prelims perspective as well as mains perspective. Census, you know, right? We decadally only we are doing the census, and 2025 will be having. They said that we'll be having another census. So it is very important from mains perspective, especially from the GS paper 2 point. Okay, so let's see a previous year question which was asked in the same lines only. Two parallel run schemes of government with Aadhaar and NPM, one of the voluntary and other as compulsory, have led to debates at national levels and also litigations on merits, discuss whether or not both schemes need to run concurrently. So we have to analyze these type of schemes. So the context is here the former registrar, he is saying that 2025 census. The 2025 census will be a key step in updating the NPR. So what do you mean by NPR? NPR means National Population Register. NPR means National Population Register, and eventually with this NPR we will be able to make a NRIC, National Registry for Indian Citizens. Okay, so this will be incorporated in 2025 census. So that is what this article is talking about. Okay, so let's see what is actually census. Okay, so census means what? Census means basically an exercise to collect the detailed data only. It can be livestock census also. For example, we will be collecting the data of the livestock, so that will be livestock census. It can be caste census. We will be collecting the data according to the caste basis. So census means basically collecting the data only. If in a school, if the teacher is taking the attendance, that can also be counted as a type of census only. Okay, so this is conducted in a nationwide. This is conducted nationwide. For example, the government of India is only doing this process. So this is a nationwide process, and what data are they collecting? They are collecting the data of the country's population. Okay, so that is census. The first census was conducted in 1872, and 1872 the British were ruling in this area. So it was conducted during the period of British Raj. So why we are conducting the census? There will be some purpose for conducting the census, right? So census mean we will be collecting the population, the data of the population. So with this population data, we will be able to plan accordingly. What all things, the economic planning can be done, even housing planning can be done. So all these things can be done based on the data which you have collected in the census. Okay, so why the Britishers did this? Britishers were not concerned about anything, the welfare of Indians, right? So why Britishers did this? Because they also wanted the data of the people. It was not for the benefit of the people, but it was for the benefit of the Britishers only. For example, in these areas, these type of people are staying. So this kind of taxation will be benefiting the Britishers. So for their benefit only, they actually conducted the census. But still, as of now, the proper evidence regarding a census we have got from the British time period only. But when they were doing the census also, they were not doing it regularly. They were not doing it regularly. They were doing it in the times which they wanted the data to be collected. So after independence, the post-independence era in 1951, we made it into a decadal tradition. What do you mean by decadal tradition? It means 10 years. It means 10 years. So every 10 years the census will be conducted. For example, 1951. So after 1951, 10 years means 1961 the next census will be conducted. 1971 the other census will be conducted. So like this way it will be going on. The last census was conducted in 2011. Last census was conducted in 2011. So ideally the next census should have been in 2021, right? Ideally from 2011 means next census should have been in 2021. But you know what happened in 2019 and all? COVID pandemic came. So COVID pandemic came and all the machinery were routed to for that COVID effort. So we were not able to conduct the census on 2021. So that census only we are going to conduct in 2025. Okay, so that is the significance. We have actually broken that particular cycle. Okay. All right. Now, who conducts the census? Who conducts the census? So, if you go to this website, censusindia.gov.india, you will be getting all data related to the census, the history of the census, what was actually the data from the previous census, everything you will be getting. So, here itself, it is mentioned who is actually in charge of this census. So, census is coming under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs in Government of India, and who is in charge of one is Census Commission. So he will be notifying the census, everything related to the initiation of the census as well as the compiling of the census he will be doing. And we have one more officer, that is Office of Registrar General. So he will be in charge of this data collection, all these things will be under his control. Okay, Registrar General. So these are the two people who are in charge of census. Okay, in this ministry we have something known as the census division is there. So census division will be conducting the surveys. They will be allocating who should do all these things. That will be done by the census division only. Okay, and this is coming under Ministry of Home Affairs. So there are some phases for census. Census is not conducted directly. Okay, everything is compiled on one day. It is not like that. There are some phases will be there. The first one, they will be testing it. The pre-test of census will be there. Usually, traditionally, it was done at least 2 years. 2 years before itself, the that preparation will be starting. Okay, so they'll be doing the trial. So the new methodologies will be there. For example, 2025 census, it is said that it will be a completely digital census. Okay, so like that, they'll be undergoing the trial. So they'll be testing whether these things are working. All these things will be done during this pre-test of this census only. Okay, so after that they'll be going for the house listing. They'll be going for the house listing and housing census. So what are they doing in this house listing and housing census? From the name suggests, they'll be mostly taking the information regarding housing. So what are the housing conditions? Whether they are having pakka houses, whether they are having two-storied houses, whether they are having single-storied houses, whether they have gas cylinder at home. So all these things will be listed in this house listing and housing census. So after this will be conducted. Maybe we can call it as this as the first phase. Sometimes this is not counted as a first phase itself. Okay. After that, maybe after some months, what they'll be doing? They'll be doing this population enumeration. Okay. Population enumeration is little more on the individual level. For example, what is the age of the person? In every household, there will be people will be there. Right? So, what is the age of the person? What is his marital status, education background? So, all these things will be listed in this population enumeration. Okay, so this works in the individual level and this works in the household level only. So, in 2025 census, it is said that in 2025 census, they will be including this NRC component also. NRC component, NPR component as well as NPR component as well as NRIC component will also be included in this process. Okay, so we will be discussing what is this NRIC as well as NPR. Okay. Alright, so NPR stands for National Population Register. NPR stands for National Population Register. So population register means what? Who will be coming under the population? Population means it will be the usual residents of that area. Area means it will be the nationwide. Okay, census is conducted nationwide only. Right? So the usual residents of that area. So who are tagged as usual residents? Usual resident, every country will be having their own criteria. In India, it is usually taken that a person who is who has stayed for at least 6 months or even planning to stay for 6 months, he is considered as a usual resident in India. Usual resident in India. So we'll be making a list of usual residents. So here we are not mentioning the term citizens, right? Why we are not mentioning the citizens? Because this is a population register. In a country, both citizens as well as other people can also be there. So basically NPR means it will be taking the list of who all are residing in that particular country. Okay. Coming to this National Register of Indian Citizens, what they will be doing is, it is specifically for Indian citizens only. Who is a citizen? Citizens can vote, right? Who are residing in that area, will they be able to vote? No, they won't be able to vote. So there are some privileges. There are some fundamental rights which are available only for citizens. So those who are qualified to be the Indian citizens, they will be included in another list. So that is National Registry of Indian Citizens. So what are they doing here? In NPR, they are taking the demographic data only. They are taking the demographic data in NCR. Okay, NPR demographic data, and also the biometric data will also be there. So what do you mean by biometric data? Biometric data means in Aadhaar and all, we'll be giving biometric, right? So fingerprint is a biometric, and also the iris scan is a biometric. So these things we can include it in the biometric. So this is also being collected. And also what is demographic data? What is the gender of that? What is the gender in that area? Ethnicity in that area? Other things regarding population. So anything regarding demographics, that will be included in the demographic data. So this is actually what they are doing in NPR. And in NRIC, that is not to collect the demographic data. We already have the demographic data. So from here only, mostly this will be prepared. Okay, from NPR only we will be preparing this NRIC. So what is the purpose of NRIC? We already have the data. So here we will be sorting out who are the citizens. Who are the citizens? So why we are doing it? Mostly for national security purpose only. So basically we want to make sure that we are getting the count of who all are the citizens and who all are not. Okay, mainly to remove who all are the identify who all are illegally staying in India. So that is the process. Okay, so for every process, whatever it be, whether it be census or whether it be NRC or whether it be NRIC, we need a legal backing. If it is not legal, means what? People can go to the court. People can go to the court and they can challenge the decisions or maybe the entire process itself. So what is actually the legal backing for this NRC? Okay, so like I've said, even census is also having a legal backing. The Census Act of 1948. So that is actually giving the legal backing to census. If it is not having legal backing, means maybe people can go to the court saying that even census is itself is a violation of privacy. Okay, so that is not happening. Alright, so which act is giving legal backing for NRC? That is a Citizenship Act of 1955. So in the Citizenship Act only, it is defined who all are the citizen and who all are not the citizens of that country. Okay, so that is defined in the Citizenship Act of 1955 only. Okay, so in 1999, India fought a war with Pakistan, that was known as the Kargil War. Okay, so Kargil War was fought between India and Pakistan in 1999. So after the Kargil War, we understood that we actually need a citizenship register was needed. So there was a very popular committee known as Subramaniam Committee. Subramaniam is actually the father of our External Affairs Minister, Jaishankar. Okay, so Subramanian Committee was there. So what Subramanian Committee said, that we need a national citizenship register is needed. For that, one more provision was added to this act, that is section 14A. Based on this committee recognition, section 14A was added to this particular act. Okay, so it created a national register for citizens. National register for citizens, and every citizens will be, those identified citizens will be issued an ID card. So these were some of the provisions of the section 14 of this Citizenship Act of 1955. Okay, alright. So you might think even we have Aadhaar also, right? What is the difference between Aadhaar as well as NPR? So that, because both of them, the provisions of both of them are looking similar only. Okay, Aadhaar is also for the population, not for the citizen. So here also you might think that what Aadhaar is doing and what is NPR is doing. So basically Aadhaar is an identification system. Aadhaar is an identification system and it is actually a 12-number ID card. 12-number ID card which is being given to for to ensure that these residents are able to access the services. For example, for PDS, public distribution system, or maybe some other government schemes and all, you need Aadhaar. Okay, so that is the purpose of Aadhaar, to ensure that they are getting this government services as well as subsidy. So that is actually Aadhaar is helping them to get this. NPR is basically a documentation process only. Like census, NPR is a documentation process only. By after collecting after collecting the data through NPR, we can use it for many other purposes. For example, we can even create an NRIC, National Register for Indian Citizens. Also, we can create out of this NRIC. Basically, NPR is to distinguish between citizens and non-citizens. So it can actually act as a precursor of this NCIR. Okay, I'm just giving an example only. NPR can be used for many purposes, and one of them is NRIC. Okay, so that is the difference between NPR and Aadhaar. So was this process conducted early? Was this process conducted early? Yes, it was conducted in Assam. So that was the only time we actually had an NRC. Okay. So Assam, you know, right? Assam is something. Assam is a state which is actually very close to Bangladesh, and in Bangladesh we had a war. 1971, India and Pakistan had a fought a war, and that was a Bangladesh liberation war. So after this war, many migrants, many people migrated from this Bangladesh region to India. So that especially they were residing in this Assam region. So that caused discontent among this Assamese people, and many even it went to violence also. So in 1985, we had something known as Assam Accord. So according to this Assam Accord, an NRC was created in this Assam. The purpose was to identify the illegal migrants, especially those who migrated from Bangladesh. Okay, so we already have the experience of creating an NRC in Assam, but that was not a smooth process. It had its own challenges. One was documentation issues. One was documentation issue. See, for example, now only we have this kind of digital records. Earlier, we don't have this digital records. At that time, we were using this paper only. So usually that will be taking time. Imagine the same record. Imagine the same thing which we are doing in 1985 and all. So they'll be they need to produce a record which were from 1950s or even 1940. At that time, people don't even know what these records and all. So many people were excluded. Many people were excluded, even if they are legally the residents of that area, or maybe even if they are legally the citizens of that area, they didn't have that proper documentation. So until and unless you are not able to produce this documentation, how will you be included as a citizen or a resident? So that was a very important challenge which we faced. Another one is administrative hurdles. Again, at that time it was not digitized and all, so the process was cumbersome. People don't know where to go. Even the officials were also not much aware of this process. So the process was taking huge delays. It was taking huge delays, and even many people went to court also. For example, if you are legally staying in that area, but still they are denying your residentship or your citizenship, means you will be directly going to the court. So this was also another issue which we faced when we conducted the same in Assam. Okay, so these issues we can generalize also, even if we are doing it in a nationwide level also, at that time also this issue can happen. Okay, all right. So how these challenges can be addressed? Let's see how these challenges can be addressed. One is we have to ensure that the documentation systems are better. We have to consider every factor. For example, some people will be having digitized documents will be there, and some people won't be having digitized documents. Maybe they won't be even directly having it. If you need a birth certificate, they won't be having a birth certificate. Maybe they'll be able to produce some other document. So that also has to be considered. Okay, it should not be like we should be able to exclude many people. We should be we should try to accommodate more people. Okay, and also there should be transparency and accountability. For that we need appeal mechanisms should be there. Instead of directly going to the court itself, there should be tribunals can be created. Tribunals can be created. Okay, so and also third party oversight should also be allowed. For example, it should not be like entirely a government process. Other people should all mediation process should be there. So like that we also need to be there. And also as of now, if we are doing it now, obviously we'll have to opt for technological solutions. Like we can link NRC with Aadhaar. So like that way the process can be made easy. Biometric verifications can be done. So that possibility has also, we have to explore that possibilities also. Okay, all right. So this is actually the way forward. If we are conducting an NRC now, so how we can actually overcome these challenges. All right, let's see a mains practice question. Assam NRC raised several challenges during its implementation. Discuss the key challenges faced during the Assam NRC exercise and suggest measures to address these challenges in future nationwide NRC initiative. Okay, so it's talking regarding Assam NRC, what were the challenges, and also in future if you are doing something, what all, how we can actually overcome these challenges. So we can briefly introduce what is this Assam NRC, you can introduce what is this Assam Accord, all these things you can introduce, and also here itself maybe you can mention the challenges, or if you want to go with a separate subheading at that time also you can include the challenges. What were the issues we actually faced, like documentation issues where fear of exclusion was there, administrative hurdles, all these things you can mention, and after that what were the measures which we can do, like making the documentation better, including more documents, technological solutions should be implemented. So like that way you can write the body, and after that you can give a positive conclusion, like it need to be more fair and inclusive. Like that way you can conclude it. Okay, all right, now let's move on to another topic. Again, this is talking regarding the section 52 of Copyright Act. Section 52 of Copyright Act. So copyright means it will be coming under GS paper 3. GS paper 3, intellectual property right. So we'll see, discuss what is intellectual property right, what is this copyright, and what is this present issue also. Okay. Alright, so let's see a previous year question. In a globalized world, intellectual property rights assume significance and are source of litigation, broadly distinguished between terms copyright, patents, and trade secrets, which was asked in 2014. Okay. Alright, so what is the context here? This is actually between two popular Tamil actresses. Tamil actors, one is Dhanush and another one is Nayanthara. So recently, Nayanthara released her biopic through Netflix, and in that biopic, she wanted to add some of the clips which were from a movie Nanum Rowdythan, which was released in 2015. So in 2015, this movie was produced by actor Dhanush. Okay, so she approached Dhanush and asked for these clips. At that time, he didn't respond. So since he didn't respond, she used some of the behind the scenes clip which was taken in her mobile, or maybe the people who she knows. Okay, so again this Netflix documentary was released, and released with this behind the scenes clips. Okay, so after this, Dhanush, the producer of this particular movie, he has actually filed a complaint in the regarding the copyright violation. So this is actually the background of this issue. Okay, all right, so we'll see what is this copyright and how this is working in the film. So what before moving to copyright, we need to know regarding intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights mean these are some of the legal protections granted to creators. Okay, creators, what all things creators can do? Inventions. For example, if you are inventing something, you have to take a patent. Patent should be taken. So patent is an intellectual property right. Even artistic works. Artistic work means creating some music or maybe painting. Even if you are working for some brands, that will be included. So these things can also be there, and also trademarks. So like that way, we have different types of intellectual property rights, and in that, copyright is one of the most important intellectual property rights. Again, this is also granted to the creator only, but it is not given for an invention. It is not given for an invention, but still it is for more individualistic work. For example, literary works. If I'm writing a book, I can get a copyright for that particular book. If I'm making a movie, then I can take a copyright for that movie. Choreography, I can take even architecture also. So this particular level only, this copyright is granted. Okay, so what is copyright doing? It is giving exclusive rights. It is giving exclusive rights to reproduce, distribute, perform or display the work to this particular copyright owner. And not just that, it can even authorize, you can even authorize others to do the same. Okay, so if the creator is giving the authority, if the creator is authorizing, then other person can also use that. Okay, so this is what the the concept of copyright. But if you are taking film, you know, right, film is composed of many different elements. It will be having a script, a camera person will be there, even choreography will be there, makeup man will be there, even lyrics person will be there. So like that, different, it's an amalgamation of different things. But if you are considering the overall film, if you are considering the overall film, the producer is actually the film producer is actually the copyright holder. Okay, it will be, the copyright is vested in the producer only. But still we have other elements also. For example, the music area will be there. So music area, who will be in charge of the music? Music composers. For the music composers will be there. For the script, even script writers can have the copyright for the this, even that choreography. So like that, individual copyrights are also there. But still, if you are taking the movie as a whole, the producer holds a copyright. Okay, all right. So the question here is, here I have mentioned many things, right? Like script, that lyrics, music, many things I have mentioned. But there is something known as behind the scenes video also. So nowhere, nothing is mentioned regarding the behind the scenes video. And also there is no agreement. There is no agreement between the artist. As of now, there is no agreement between the artist as well as the producer or any authority regarding how, whether we are eligible to use this behind the scenes video. So that is a question here, whether the BTS clip, behind the scenes clip, not part of the original cinematographic work, constitutes an infringement to the Dhanush copyright. So this is the major issue here, and it is something which is very much new also. Okay, so let's see how this copyright is defined in Indian law. It is, Indian copyright law is Copyright Act 1957. Copyright Act 1957 is the Indian copyright law. So this is giving protection to the, whether it be the literary work, dramatic work, musical work, or even the cinematographic work. All these things will be governed under this Copyright Act of 1957 only. So what is the duration of this copyright? So mostly the duration of the copyright will be the lifetime of the creator plus 60 years. The lifetime of the creator until the creator is dead. Till then you will be having copyright plus 60 years also. So this is the copyright duration for most. Why I am saying most? Because there is something known as applied art. Something known as applied art. Okay, so in this applied art, it can vary from 25 years to even 50 years. So like that way it can vary. Okay, designs of furniture, clothing, jewelry, so these will be coming under this applied art. For this area it can vary. So that is why I have written here for most of the works. Other than this, almost every work like cinematography, choreography, music, songs, everything, this is the uh, duration of the copyright. Okay, and also this act is having provisions to punish the this act makes it punishable if you are using it without any authorization from the creator. You can punish either using a civil case or using a criminal case. For example, criminal case means piracy, film piracy. If you are shooting the movie and if you are uploading it in some illegal sites or illegal areas, then you can be charged under this criminal offense. Okay, and also civil remedies are also there. For example, selling counterfeit software. So these things will be considered under civil remedy. So both cases can be charged. Okay, and also this act is having a very important section known as section 52 of this Copyright Act. Okay, so here it is mentioned like what are the exception to this copyright infringement. What are the exceptions to this copyright infringement? For example, In every areas it won't be applicable. If I want to take a short clip, if I want to share a short clip of some movie or maybe something for reviewing, right, how the reviewers are working out, so they'll be taking some short clip. And also sometimes we used to take some video clips for research purpose also, research purpose, or you publishing in some academic papers, or maybe to give commentary, or maybe news articles also. You are reporting something regarding a movie, and the news means you have to use that clip, right? So in these areas this copyright act is not applicable. Okay, so that is, it can either for private use as well as personal use also. For example, reviewers and all, they are using it for their private use only. Okay, or maybe sometimes it can be commercial use also, like news companies and all, they will be using it. Okay, so that is regarding Indian copyright law. So this section 52, there is a very important term known as fair dealing. Section 52, there is a very important term known as fair dealing. Okay, so what do you mean by fair dealing? It allows the limited use of copyright material. Same thing only. Section 52 means limited use of this copyright material. If I want to review something, I want to review, criticize, news reporting, all these things, so that will be considered as fair dealing, but it should not be for a fair use only. It should not. It should be for a fair use only. So what do you mean by fair? If you are criticizing someone's work, can it be considered as a fair? Still, it can be considered as a fair. It is not like whether it is fair in that kind of sense. It should be like, for example, if you are taking a move, if you are downloading a movie clip, if you are downloading a movie trailer, and if you are uploading it in your channel and you are publishing it, what is happening there? People will be watching through your channel only. So ultimately, the original creator, they are not getting the monetary benefit. So there it is an unfair practice only. And also sometimes it can harm the copyright holders interest also. At that time also it is not considered fair. At that time it will be unfair only. Okay, so that should not happen. Other than that, you can directly use it. Okay, so this is fair, the concept of fair dealing. Okay, so here the view of Nayanthara is like she has used it for a fair purpose only. And other person, the Danish is saying that it is not coming under this fair use, but it is unfair use without the authorization of the creator. Okay, so this is the issue here. Okay, so let's see a practice question. Which of the following statements regarding copyright in India is or are correct? The Copyright Act 1957 governs the protection of original literary, dramatic, musical, artistic and cinematographic works in India. Okay, so this is correct only, right? Okay, so this statement is correct. Another one, Section 52 of the Copyright Act 1957 provides exceptions to copyright infringement, allowing certain use of copyrighted works without the need for permission from the copyright holder. Okay, so this is also correct only. Exemption means what? Without that is not coming under the copyright law. Copyright law means the owner will be having authority over it. Here the owner is not having authority. If you want to criticize someone's work, then they are not having the authority. So like that we can do. Okay, so here the correct answer is both 1 and 2. Okay, all right, let's move on to another topic. Again, this is from defense only, both important from both prelims as well as mains perspective. So here we'll be dealing regarding what is a new ballistic missile which was developed by India. So from prelims point of view as well as GS paper 3 in the internal security also, this is very important. Okay, so let's see a previous year question. Which one of the following is a best description of INS Ashtadharani that was in the news recently? Okay, so this is regarding a what kind of machine is this? Alright, so context is India successfully tested the K4 submarine launched ballistic missile SLBM yesterday. Okay, so that was a news. Alright, we'll see what is this K4 missile. So K4 missile is an intermediate range missile. So how do you determine the range of a missile? Based on how many kilometers it can travel. For example, some can travel till 300 kilometer only. We call it as tactical ballistic missile. Some will be short range. So short range means 300 to 1000 kilometer. We include it at short range missile, and after that medium range will be there. 1000 to 3500 kilometer, we call it as medium range. After that only intermediate range is coming. Okay, it's between 3500 to 5500 kilometer, 3500 to 5500, then we call it as intermediate range only. But here another catch point is the government has not published its range, so this is classified information only. But still, according to some sources, we can say that it is not short range, it is not tactical range, but it is somewhere in the intermediate range. But some Chinese source and all is saying that it is even it is having more range. For example, it is qualified to be an intercontinental missile. For example, it can even target Europe or even US also from India. So that is what it is said. Okay, so that is the range of this missile. Another one is it is nuclear capable. So what do you mean by nuclear capable? The warhead will be even in this missile, it can hold a nuclear missile itself. Okay, so that is it. Another one is submarine launched. Okay, so we have missiles which can be launched from different areas. For example, air launched missiles are there. Surface launched missile are also there, and also it can be launched from underwater also. Submarine is something which is there underwater. So this is basically underwater launched missile. And also we have, it is a ballistic missile. So what do you mean by ballistic missile? We have different types of missile, but mainly we have two types of missiles. One is a ballistic missile and another one is a cruise missile. Ballistic missile and a cruise missile. Okay, so imagine this is a launcher. This is a launcher. So here the missile is launched from here only. So for pushing this missile out, we need some fuel, right? So for cruise missile, for the entire journey, this fuel is being used. Entire journey, the fuel is being used, and also we will be having the control of the cruise missile for the entire journey. For example, we want to go like this, go like this, go like this. At the entire journey, we can actually control it. Ballistic missile is not like that. So ballistic missile, it will make use of the fuel till here only, almost till here only. So after here, what will happen? It will follow the natural trajectory, that is gravity. Okay, based on the gravitational force, it will be going from here to here. So that is ballistic missile. Cruise missile means it is mostly used for short ranges only. Short ranges in the sense what? Short ranges means around 300 kilometers and all. We'll be using this cruise missile. So here it is not like that. Here we need a wider trajectory. Okay, so that is ballistic missile. So why we are using this? Because why we have developed this? Because we are creating something like a nuclear triad. What is a nuclear triad? We need to deliver weapons in both all the three areas. For example, air, land as well as air, land as well as sea also. So this is nuclear triad. All the three distinct platforms we have to deliver nuclear weapons. Okay. So why this is important? Because we are going with something known as the second strike capability. For example, a country A is attacking the country B. A country A is attacking country B. So this country A is having a policy. Both these countries are in war. Okay. So this country is having a policy like no first use policy. So in this war itself, this country won't be using nuclear weapons in the first. But still, B is not having that. So B will be directly attacking this country with all the nuclear capabilities and will destroy the entire weapons of this country. So at that time, what will happen? We have to go with something like the second strike capability. So second strike capability means what? After this also, even if almost everything is being destroyed also, we need to have some backup. This is mostly done in the underground. For example, mostly the enemy countries will be targeting the air missiles as well as the land missiles only. This underwater is little difficult to track, almost impossible to track, especially submarines and all. We can even place it in near the enemy countries without even knowing itself. So for this only we are actually developing this submarine launch missiles. Okay. So regarding the K4 missiles, so this is coming under the Arihant class nuclear submarines, and it is indigenously developed by DRDO, indigenously developed by DRDO. So this is a coming under the Advanced Technology Vessel Program. Advanced Technology Vessel Program means we will be developing a set of nuclear powered ballistic missiles. Nuclear powered ballistic missiles will be ballistic missile submarines will be developed. So this is basically Advanced Technology Development Program, and in that we have developed many Arihant class nuclear submarines. Okay, and obviously it is linked to the India's nuclear triad. I have already mentioned how it is linked. So technical specification of K4 missile, I have already mentioned that this is a intermediate range. This is a intermediate range missile, but still we don't know the exact range. It is somewhere in the intermediate range only. The government has not published what is actually the exact range of this. It is said that from other sources it is said that if it's in a full load range, if it's completely loaded, it can go up to 3000 kilometer. If it is reduced load, then it can go around 4000 kilometers. Some even enemy countries are saying that it can even go till Europe and all. More than 6000 kilometer capacity is there. Earlier we had something known as a K-15 missile. This was having a very less range only. So compared to this K-15 missile, this is a very huge development. Okay, so that is what the advantage of this K4 missile. Okay. Another important aspect is it can be launched in this vertical launch system. So what do you mean by vertical launch system? Usually missiles will be launched like this only, especially ballistic missiles will be launched this only, that too from land. So here they are using this kind of technology. It can directly be launched. It can be launched like this vertical launch system, that too from underwater. Submarines, it will be in underwater only, right? So from underwater it can be launched vertically like this. Okay, so that is a one very important thing in this K4 missile. Another thing is the solid fuel technology. Okay, so we can have either solid fuel or liquid fuel. So what is the problem with liquid fuel? Mostly we will have to, the submarines has to come to the surface to refill. So that is one. For example, diesel and all, we had this diesel powered submarines and all. So at that time it has to come to the surface, at least once in a while it has to come to the surface. Here we are actually using a solid fuel technology. Solid fuel technology means it can be stored. Many times it can be stored, and this refueling can also be, this duration can also be extended, and also this liquid fuel which will be requiring more time to fuel before the launch. So that is also another problem with this liquid fuel. Solid fuels are not having that issue, and this is something which we have developed for this K4 missile, that is advanced inertial guidance and ensuring high accuracy. Usually missiles will be having a range only. For example, uh, either it can be dropped here or it can be dropped here, or in this range only it will be dropped. But for this K4 missile we have again reduced this range. We have again reduced this range, and almost precisely itself we will be able to ensure that it is falling on the targets. That is also one important thing regarding this K4 missile. So let's see a prelims practice question. Which one of the following statements best describes the K4 missile which was tested recently? It's a land-based ballistic missile with a range of 4000. It is not land-based. It is a submarine-based launch ballistic missile developed by DRDO for Arihant class submarine. That is correct statement only. So here it is air launch. That is also wrong. It is a space-based missile. That is also wrong. So here the correct answer will be this one, submarine launch ballistic missile, SLBM. Okay. All right, let's move on to next topic. This is talking regarding the sender's new plan, new mission on national mission on natural farming. This is very important from agricultural point of view. GS paper 3 mains. Okay. All right, let's see a previous year question. So here it is talking regarding permaculture. Okay, so our topic is regarding natural farming. So that kind of questions, something like this can also be asked from this area also. Okay, so the context is government has approved the launch of national mission on natural farming, NMNF. Okay, so what do you mean by natural farming? Natural farming is something which is understood from the term itself, natural farming. So how it is becoming natural? Because no chemicals. We are not using any chemicals. Okay. So if we are not using any chemicals, so where we were using chemicals, one, it will be fertilizers. It will be fertilizers. Another one, it will be pesticides. Okay. So these are the two areas we will be mostly using this chemicals. So here what we are doing, we are using organic fertilizers. We are using organic fertilizers. We are using even pesticides also, natural pesticides only we will be using. So this is the concept of this natural farming. So why we are using natural farming? One, to encourage biodiversity, to support animal health and welfare, discourage algae blooms. Why? How algae blooms is happening? Eutrophication. Okay, so the pesticides will be going to the water bodies, and again there will be nitrogen content will be there. So again it will be causing this algae bloom. So that is also avoided here, and again it will be supporting water conservation and water health. Also it will be discouraging environmental exposure to pesticides and chemicals, and it will ensure that healthy soil is being built, and also it will be combating soil erosion and fights, even helps in fighting global warming. Okay. Alright, so now regarding this particular mission, National Mission on Natural Farming, this is a centrally sponsored scheme. Centrally sponsored scheme. So what do you mean by centrally sponsored scheme? Not a central sector scheme, but centrally sponsored scheme means the central government will be funding. Central government will be funding, but states will also have to contribute their particular share. So that is centrally sponsored scheme. Okay, so this is coming under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Okay, so that is the ministry as well as what type of scheme. So basically this is not a concept which we have brought in altogether. We already had this kind of programs. One is Bharatiya Prakratik Krishi Paddhati, BKPK. Okay, it was coming under Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Okay, so this was regarding organic farming. Okay, so this was regarding organic farming. So this BPKP was also a component of this organic farming, and also we had this Namami Gange scheme. Namami Gange scheme is regarding conservation of Ganga only, but still here also one component was there. Along the 5 kilometer belt along the Ganga river, we need to promote organic farming, okay, or natural farming. Why? Because the example which I told earlier, only the pesticides and everything will be coming to Ganga, and Ganga will be polluted. It was not just industrial waste, but still these kind of waste were also polluting Ganga. So we already had this kind of concept. Now we are coming up with a new mission, entirely new mission to promote natural farming. Okay. All right. So what are the key initiatives in this? One, 50,000 clusters in Gram Panchayat over 2 years. In 2 years, we will be developing 15,000 clusters which will be promoting natural farming. Another thing, we will be at least achieving 10,000 bio input resource center for VR. So what do you mean by bio input? The major component in this natural farming is using organic fertilizers, organic pesticides and all. So for that, we will be creating at least 10,000 BRCs or bio input research centers, and also there will be 2000 model demonstration farms. So here itself, from the term itself, it is understood model demonstration farm. So new technologies will be there, like zero budget farming and all is there. So for demonstrating this new technologies and all, we will be going with this model demonstration farms, which will be helpful for the farmers, and also we'll be deploying 30,000 Krishi Sakhis or community resource person. 30,000 Krishi Sakhis or community resource person, like that. For the health sectors, we have ASHA workers and all. So like that, to ensure that more mobilization and more awareness generation is happening, for that we'll be deploying this kind of community volunteers, and also everything will be geotag. The monitoring will be geotag. What do you mean by geotag? We'll be attaching geographical coordinates, both latitude as well as longitude coordinates will be there, so that with that only we will be geotagging every initiative. Okay, so these are the key initiatives here in this particular mission. Okay, all right. So see a prelims practice question. Which of the following is a key feature of natural farming? Use of fertilizer and pesticide to enhance productivity. That is not, because that is against. Focus on monoculture with organic manure and intensive farming products. No. Integration of livestock and use of natural inputs like organic manure. So this is the correct answer. Okay. Alright. So the correct answer will be this one. Integration of livestock and use of natural inputs like organic manures. Okay. Alright. Next one. Again, this will be a something. This is also a controversy regarding Wikimedia as well as ANI. Okay. So here we'll be discussing one term is coming, safe harbor clause. So what is the safe harbor clause? We can consider it as a snippets. Okay. All right. So the context is ANI, Asian News International, which is actually the news agency of India. They have filed a defamation suit against this Wikimedia Foundation, which is actually the owner of this Wikipedia, the encyclopedia Wikipedia. And after that, Delhi High Court has ordered that Wikimedia has to reveal the admin details. Admin details means who is actually handling the data or who is actually making the editing. So that has to be revealed. So that is something which is even considered as might become a threat to the press freedom also. Okay, so that is the context. So we'll see what is the issue here. So the issue is the Wikipedia, the ANI. ANI said that there was actually a page on ANI in Wikipedia. So in that page, Wikipedia says that ANI is actually spreading propaganda. ANI is actually spreading propaganda. Whose propaganda? They are actually spreading the government propaganda. So ANI is not a news agency, but it is actually an agency to spread the government propaganda. So ANI found that this is something they are through this Wikipedia page they are actually defaming them. So they filed a defamation suit in the Delhi High Court. Okay. Alright, so let's see both of their views. What is Wikipedia saying in this? So Wikipedia is saying that they are actually a neutral platform. They are actually a neutral platform. Why they are saying that they are a neutral platform? Because they are an intermediary. They are an intermediary. Intermediary means what? Like social medias, Google, Microsoft, yeah, Bing, Facebook. All this are intermediaries only. Intermediary means they are actually providing the platform only. For example, if I am putting a video in YouTube, YouTube is not responsible for this content. I can put anything in YouTube. Maybe if it's violating the community guidelines, they have to remove. They can't remove. Okay, so that is how it is. They are not creating the content. So that is what it is meant by a neutral platform. So that is what Wikipedia is saying. Anyone can be contributors or anyone can be editors in Wikipedia. So it is a neutral platform. Oh, for this kind of intermediate, there is something known as safe harbor protection is there. Okay, so we have an act known as IT Act. We have an act known as IT Act of 2000. So in this IT Act of 2000 only this clause, safe harbor protection, is being granted. Okay. So what do you mean by this safe harbor protection? Because these kind of intermediaries are not responsible for the content. So that is what this safe harbor protection is granting. Okay. And also, so Wikipedia is saying that they are having this clause. Okay, so they cannot be sued. And also, there are they don't have the power to reveal the reveal who has actually edited or who has actually contributed the content. So they are saying that they should maintain the anonymity, which is actually one of the guidelines of the Wikipedia. Okay, so that is also there. And also they are only having this technical role. They are not involved in any kind of they are only providing the platform and they are not involved in any kind of the content. So this is what Wikipedia's view. And what ANI is saying that ANI said that even ANI itself tried to edit it. Okay, they itself tried to edit it. Like they are not propaganda, and what is actually the role of ANI in the same Wikipedia page. But what Wikipedia did is like Wikipedia reversed it. Wikipedia reversed it into the original form, like they are actually a government propaganda, and later this page was protected. Page was protected means what? Later no editing will be possible on that. So they are saying that ANI is saying that they are violating their guidelines itself. So that is actually ANI's view on that. Okay, and also they are violating the intermediary guidelines. Why? Because if someone, if I'm an, YouTube is an intermediary, means if someone is posting some very bad things about me, and if I'm reporting it to YouTube, YouTube has to remove it. That is one of the guideline which is there with the intermediary, and here they are actually violating that. So that is also another issue which ANI has demanded, and also ANI, in that suit, ANI has demanded compensation from Wikipedia. Okay. Alright, so what is actually the issue here? The issue is like the Delhi High Court said that they want, Delhi High Court said that this, the people who are involved, the editors, has to be revealed, has to be revealed. So what will happen if it has to be revealed? This intermediaries will be having more liability for user generated content. Even if I am posting something bad about someone, also YouTube will be responsible. So that can even be considered uh, as a something which is affecting the press freedom itself, and maybe from the government sources itself, it can be, there are chances that it can be misused. So this is actually the question which we are having. Okay. All right, this is a one of the hot topics which is going on here. All right, so before winding up, let me introduce you to a program which we are conducting on 10th of December. So we'll be having a Samvad session. So here we'll be exchanging thoughts of the bureaucrats. So they'll be guiding you regarding how you can have your preparation, and also regarding their role also. So we have Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan as our guest in this Samvad session. So this will be an online session. So you can register here. So the session will be happening on 10th December from 10:30 a.m. to 12th noon. And also we are launching two important courses. So one will be a 1 year prelims comes mains batch, mains integrated batch for the people who are aiming the 2026 examination. Another one will be a 2 year prelims comes mains batch for those who are aiming the 2027 examination. So the details regarding this will be available in all our social media platforms, like what is actually the duration of the course. And if you want to know more details regarding this, you can call the, you can check our website, you can contact us also. So these are the uh, things which we are offering. We will be offering around 800 plus hours. We'll be offering 800 plus hours. So so in the screen you can actually see a QR code also. So you can scan this QR code. So at that time also you will be able to get more details regarding this. So we'll be having 800 plus hours of GS classes, 200 plus hours of current affairs classes will be there, and also apart from the UPSC syllabus, we will be creating a micro schedule which will be helping you further to analyze what all things are specifically you have to target on that. And obviously we'll be having expert faculty for all the subjects, and it is not just teaching alone. We'll be checking you regularly also. We'll be analyzing you how your progress is going on through regular tests. Okay. And again, another important feature of our classes is we'll be having interactive sessions with both those who have cleared the civil service as well as those who are experts in this field also. And also we'll be having mentorship and personalized guidance, and also interview coaching also we are providing. Okay, so this is regarding the courses which we are providing. And also in our social media platforms we'll be having more videos like this. For example, and a detailed analysis videos of different topics will be there, current affairs topics will be there, static topics will also be there, and also daily we'll be having this daily news analysis will also be there. So make sure that you are subscribing to our channel, and also if you like this session, just post your thoughts on this session also. Thank you.